Hi, and welcome back to episode 7 of Princess Phenomenon. So I hit the screen too many times. Again. So I have our history box up again. Our dialogue box, or whatever box. The three of us sit in silence as the carriage rolls towards the town. The knight assigned to guard duty is sitting out front with the driver, watching for any disturbances. Emerlane glances forlornly out one window, while Rod silently looks at the other. As he rests his chin on the palm of his hand. I notice Emerlane pausing to glance at Rod every now and then, looking restless. Finally, she breaks the silence. Are you still mad that I asked you to come along to visit Viorica? You could have declined the invitation, Rod. And if you would only tell me what happened between the two of you, I would do my best to remedy the situation. Rod notices me looking at him and scowls. He returns his moody gaze to the window. I have nothing to say, Em. But you used to be good friends with Viorica too, Rod. But then ever since you were... Okay, I guess Rod probably has a big old crush on Viorica, and just like the normal not Cinderella, Little Mermaid tale, his love interest did not return the favor and is marrying someone else, and he's going to turn to Seafoam. Nice. Emerlane stops herself, but I know that she's referring to his curse. After that day, you've kept your distance from her. Then, when you found out about the wedding, you became even colder toward her. Even Viorica is worried about you, Rod. She worries that she might have offended you somehow. Emerlane. There's a hint of warning in his tone. Is it possible that Viorica is related to Rod's curse, considering the timing? Emerlane opens her mouth again to say something, but then suddenly stops and returns to the window, her expression mirroring Rod's own gloom. We're all silent until we arrive at the toy shop. Emerlane, good to see you again, and you too. Gaia, was it? A nod in acknowledgement. Viorica nods politely at the knight who stands guard at the shop door. It's just the two of you today? Emerlane and I both turn around, only to see that Rod has indeed vanished. Emerlane frowns, looking both bewildered and disappointed. He was right behind us. I'll go look for him. Thank you, Gaia. Just as I expected, Rod is leaning against the wall of an alley just outside the toy shop. Talk to him or stay with him. Shoot! This boy hasn't wanted to talk about shit. I can tell by Rod's stiff posture that anything I say to him will fall on deaf ears, so I move to stand next to him instead, and lean against the wall with him. What are you doing? Keeping you company? Rod raises an eyebrow at me. Since when have you even liked my company? Well, I'd rather be here than stay inside the toy shop and listen to Emerlane and Viorica talk. So you're not here to try and get me to talk? Well, it's not as if you would answer any of my questions. I have tried forcing you to talk and know how ineffective it is. But I'll be here if you want to talk. Rod eyes me suspiciously. Since when did you start listening to others? When you are the personal maid of someone who enjoys talking, you learn to listen. Emerlane has been happier these past few months. I hate to admit it, but it seems to be because of you. Are you actually praising me? I don't like you, Baka. That looks the way his cheeks tinted pink. Sunburn, man. He looks like he keeps getting sunburnt. Think whatever you like. I don't know why, but for some reason I'm happy that Rod gave me a compliment. Because it's a compliment. Anyway. Oh, my boy! My waltzy boy! Princess Gaia! Rod and I turn at the sound of the familiar voice. Walt pauses in front of us with a bright smile. Move over, Rod. Move over. I don't want you. I want this boy. It's nice to see you again, Princess. Waltz, what are you doing here? Well, I was about to deliver a letter to the prince, but I guess that won't be necessary anymore. A letter? Is Lady Parfait asking for me? Not just you. She wants to see the princess as well. Me? It's been a while since I was last at the march-in. Is something wrong? They need to discuss something important with the princess. Come to the march-in tonight. Tonight? But we're already here. Why not now? Waltz's eyes shift to our carriage. You are here with Princess Eberlade, yes? You can't make her wait too long. What they need to discuss with you is complicated, and will take some time to explain. The toy shop door opens, and Emerlane stands in the doorway as she says her goodbyes to Viorica. Remember, tonight. These are Waltz's last words before he slips back into the crowd. Waltz! Oh, come back! Emerlane's visit with Viorica was briefer than I thought it would be. Now all of us are headed back to the palace. Rod has not uttered a word on our way back. I can tell that this is making Emerlane agitated, as she continues to keep glancing at Rod expectantly. If you have something to say, say it. Emerlane stares at me. You obviously want to say something to Prince Rod. The only way to get your answers is to ask him directly. Rod does not turn around. It's as if he does not hear me. Emerlane clasps her hands together and sighs. Well, I glance at Rod, who still persistently stares out the window, his eyes focused on nothing. He's pretending not to hear us. How immature. Rod, Viorica was sad that you weren't here today. She was certain that you stayed outside to avoid seeing her. What is going on with you? I'm not the mood to answer your questions, Em. Emerlane grips the edges of her dress, her expression becoming more rigid. You've been keeping secrets from us ever since you were cursed. We don't even know why you were cursed or how to help you break it. Wait, the rest of the family doesn't know anything about the circumstances of Rod's curse? I thought that he told them everything, but all they know is that he's cursed. We're a family. We're supposed to help each other through problems. Emerlane's hands are shaking as she gazes at her brother. Eb. The carriage stops, and as soon as the servant opens the door, Emerlane quickly steps out and rushes back toward the palace. Rod watches her go quietly, though his eyebrows are furrowed and he looks guilty. I silently shake my head at him before running after Emerlane. Emerlane stands in the hallway with her hands to her chest. She breathes slowly in and out as if she's on the verge of tears. And when she notices me behind her, she turns away and wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. I'm sorry for storming off like that. I was just very frustrated at Rod. I said something I shouldn't have said back there. If anyone finds out about this... They won't. Your secret's safe with me. Emerlane flashes me a grateful smile before looking at the sky. Eb! One moment Rod is running down the hallway. The next, he's stopped in front of us and is trying to catch his breath. Eb, I'm sorry. I'm sorry too, Rod. But right now, I'd like to be alone. Of course. I'm sorry, Gaia. But could you leave me there for now? She does not even wait for my answer before walking away, leaving me alone with Rod again. You made her cry, Rod. I am fully aware of that. Why are you hiding your curse from your family? You wouldn't understand. I'm doing this to protect them. Protect them? Rod silently shakes his head. They wouldn't understand. Those are the last ominous words Rod speaks before rushing off, leaving me alone in the hall. What happened to him? The hallways are silent at this time of night, as most everyone in the palace prepares for bed. I'm now on my way to our meeting place. Rod told me earlier to wait for him here. I had thought that he would make me go to the march-in by myself after what transpired with Emerlane, but I was wrong. Emerlane was so upset today. I've never seen her like this before. I turned my thoughts back to the march-in and to what Walt said earlier. I wonder what Parfait wants to talk with us about. I feel my heart beating erratically against my chest. Why do I feel like something bad is going to happen? I realize that I've been standing in the open for a while. Perhaps I should move. People might find my standing here suspicious. I start walking again and am surprised when I feel a hand close around my wrist and pull me into the darkness. I open my mouth, but a hand muffles my scream. This is the wrong music for this terrifying moment. Rod! Shh! Rod? Rod's gaze is icy. He speaks quietly, but I can feel the anger simmering underneath his words. What if someone saw you just standing there? Have you even thought about how they might get suspicious? His tone is so accusatory that for a moment I cannot find my voice. But then, he's right. I should have been more careful. Sorry. Rod stares at me, surprised. What? I never thought I'd hear you apologize, especially to me. Oh, well, at least I know how to apologize, unlike you. And why would I ever have reason to apologize to you? Because you've done nothing but treat me coldly, even when I have done nothing to personally attack you. Rod scowls at me, but does not say anything. Instead, he sighs and takes my hand, pulling me after him. Aww. What? Oh, look at Sebby! He's so cute! Let's go before the guards see us. I have no energy to argue with Rod, so I allow him to pull me along. I'm sorry. What? He apologized to me? Don't make me repeat myself. I did not hear you clearly. If there's one thing I know about you, it's that you're not deaf. Of course I'm not. Shh! Someone will hear you. I glare at Rod, but he does not respond. Princess, your hand is really warm. Sorry, spilling all the tea. Rod freezes in place and glares at Sebby, who seems to be shrugging. Your thoughts are too loud, Rod. Through the dim lights, I can actually see a faint blush on Rod's cheeks. But it's midnight, my dude. You can't get no sun here. You are blushing? I am not. He lets go of my hand and starts to walk toward the secret passage with me trailing behind him. We look around to make sure no one is in sight before we slip inside. I follow closely behind Rod in silence. My eyes move upward to the little bunny plush hanging on his shoulder. Sebby, I've been wondering, have you ever talked with Rod's family as yourself? Rod suddenly stops and scowls over his shoulder at me. What? I'm asking Sebby, not you. No, I don't, Princess. Rod doesn't want me to talk with others since he thinks that I might say something unnecessary. So much for that. You still speak even when it's unnecessary. In the dim lighting of the tunnel, I think I can see a faint pink in Rod's cheeks, but it's probably a trick of the strange lighting. You're not doing a very good job. Rod is right. Sebby has blurted out his thoughts more than a number of times. What do you mean by that? You're not doing a very good job. What do you mean by that? Oh God, what was the question? What do you mean by that? Well, there are thoughts that he prefers to keep to himself. Like his thoughts on karma and his feminine voice, or his... Rod suddenly clamps Sebby's face, and I can actually see the poor plush struggling to get away from his hold. You're crushing the poor toy. Rod glares at me before finally releasing Sebby. Rod can be so brutal at times. I remember the time he almost threw me out the window for saying that one lady had a hideous dress. Rod glares at Sebby once again. He raises his finger to pinch him again, but Sebby hurriedly apologizes before Rod can touch him. Okay, I'll stop now. Rod sighs and continues walking. Rod, have you spoken with Emerlane since that earlier incident? No. As much as I want to ask him about his curse, I doubt that he'll divulge anything right now. I decide to keep my thoughts to myself as we head for the Marchen. When we arrive at the Marchen, Parfait and Delora are there to welcome us. The others, however, are nowhere in sight. Oh, it's been a while, Princess. Thank you for bringing her safely, Prince Rod. Where is everyone? They're all resting in their rooms now. It wasn't necessary that they be here for what Delora and I want to discuss with you. I'll be staying in the tavern then. Rod is about to head for the tavern when Delora stops him. You don't have to leave. What we're going to say involves you too, since you're staying at the palace as well. Rod looks at her curiously, but asks no questions. Parfait and Delora gesture us over to the settee, where we all take our seats. This is something Rod and I must know because we're in the palace? I have a bad feeling about this. Before we start, I would like to congratulate you on your first good deed, Princess. Dolores told me all about it, and I can see the extra piece on your necklace as well. Parfait smiles at me, her eyes filled with pride. Her faith in me rekindles the dwindling confidence I had. If only you'd seen how happy Dolores was when she announced it to us. Oh, cute. You didn't have to go into specifics, Parfait. Oh, are you embarrassed, Dolores? She smiles at Dolores teasingly before turning back to me. Cute! Anyway, I know you can do it, Princess. Only 2 more to go and you can break your curse. Yeah, keep up the good work, Princess. And you too, Rod. So, what is it you wanted to discuss with us? I conducted a little investigation while I was with Gaia in the palace, and I found out something important. Something important? I discovered that there's a witch in the palace. Is it Mithros? A witch? In the palace? I felt a tinge of magic while I was there. It was faint, but definitely there. I don't remember feeling it before when I was there as your doll, Princess. It seems that the witch is using a glamour to hide himself, or her, you could just say themselves. It seems that the witch is using a glamour to hide themselves from us. A glamour is a magic that only very experienced witches can cast, which means the witch we are dealing with is no ordinary witch. They have the potential to be very powerful. But what would a witch be doing in the palace in the first place? This witch could be after the king, but what? Parfait and Dolores glance at each other, looking conflicted. It is Parfait who faces me first, her expression grave. I'm afraid there's some other possibility we must make you aware of, Princess. And in order for us to explain it, we must give you the truth. Is it going to be that mother... Oh, chapter 6. Moving closer. Can't read that script. Really quick, as an aside, I'm going to throw my little hat in the ring before we get the answers that we're looking for. I think that Gaia's mother was actually the witch that was making everyone, who basically started the curses and stuff. And that Gaia is actually that super strong artifact thingy. Let's go! The Tenebrum or whatever. The truth? My only answer is silence. I shift my gaze to Rod, but he avoids my eyes. What's going on? Princess, it is very likely that this witch in the palace is looking for you. What? I cast a glamour on you a long time ago so that you could remain hidden from magical eyes. Oh wait, it's Outcaster. I did it to protect you, but this witch in question can see through the spell I've cast on you. It's my belief that they're actively looking for you. I close my eyes and massage the temples of my head as I feel a headache coming on. Wait. You said before that the witches want to see their curses unbroken, but this sounds as if they have another motive altogether. What reasons could they have for tailing me? The Tenebrarum has been without a bearer for a long time, ever since the end of the war. A new bearer, however, will soon arise, and the crystal is ready to support them. Some of the witches, the wicked ones, want to make sure that the Tenebrarum continues to spread darkness, even with this new bearer in charge. Okay, but what does that have to do with me? Dolores crosses her arms, her expression grim. The title of the bearer is passed down from one descendant to the next. Princess, the last Tenebrarum bearer was the late Queen of Angiel, your mother. I feel my blood go cold. What? God, no offense, but Guy says what a lot. Like a lot. As you are the queen's daughter, you are the next heir. Come your 18th birthday, you'll inherit the title of Tenebrarum bearer. Mother? A witch? Impossible! Why would you spout such lies? I narrow my eyes at them, searching for some hint that they're lying to me. Dolores and Parfait never turn their sad eyes away from me. Rod glances at me briefly before turning away, looking uncomfortable. Hildir, your mother and I used to work together to maintain balance, but then the witch hunt drove her mad and turned her heart to ice. But she never used any magic. I would have known if she was a witch. It's possible that you did it in the past, but then it seems she erased all your memories of her true identity. Delora was already able to ascertain that most of your memories of her have been snatched away. Hildur needed you to remain obedient so that when you finally did inherit her role as the bearer, you would continue to do as she wanted. My thoughts feel as if they're spinning endlessly on an axis. The real reason I cursed you was to see if you're truly capable of goodness, Princess. Hildur's influence clung to you even after her death, and we feared that you'd continue her previous work. That Angiel might once again fall to darkness if you were not able to help the dark emotions in your heart. So then you cursed me, because you were terrified of what I would do if I became the bearer as I was? My only answer is silence. Now I understand why people hated me. It's because I'm my mother's daughter. I cannot help but reach out to touch the pendants on my necklace as a feeling of dread washes over me. We know that there's goodness in you, Princess. We only wanted you to realize it by breaking your curse. Parfait sighs, looking guilty. It was a selfish act on our part, I know. But we could not risk another great war. I believe that I would have plunged the world into a war? I turned to Rod, who was yet to speak since the conversation started. Did you know about all of this? Everyone knows the story of the Tenebrer witch and her daughter. Everyone except for me. I glanced down at my hand, suddenly feeling numb. I'm a witch. I'll become the Tenebrerum's next bearer. Just the thought of it makes me sick. I think back to my childhood. I can still recall the glares that everyone gave me when I was a child. They were scared of me because I was my mother's daughter? What about the king? Did he never love me because I was the daughter of a witch? But if that's the case, if my mother was so wicked, then why did the king marry her in the first place? Hildur threatened to kill the woman he loved if he did not marry her. She threatened to kill Ophelia. Oh! Oh no! Oh God, Dada, no. That sucks. God. Ophelia, so the king has loved Ophelia from the very beginning? I clenched my hands into tight fists. After Mother died, he was able to reunite with his true love. And since then, he's treated Emerlane and Rod better than he ever treated me, even though I'm his daughter by blood. I want to feel angry about this revelation, but instead I feel a dreary emptiness inside of me. A heavy feeling begins to settle in my chest, suffocating my heart. He never really loved me. Gaia. Rod's voice snaps me out of my thoughts, and that is when I realize that a stray tear has made its way down my cheek. I quickly wipe it away with the back of my hand, angry at myself for showing weakness in front of them. You must be happy to see me like this. What? Your mother was made queen, and you and your sister became royals overnight. It's like something out of a fairy tale, isn't it? You thought you had the perfect life until I came back into it. I never asked for this to happen. I just wanted to... Rod suddenly moves his hand to Sebby's mouth, muffling whatever other words the plush was going to say for him. What is it you want to say, Rod? It's nothing. I can assure you, however, that the power that comes with the crown has always been irrelevant to my family and I. So stop assuming that everyone around you is after your title or your riches. Did your time with my sister not teach you anything? I'm about to angrily retort when I suddenly stop, my heart sinking. I've already recognized that Emerlane is more complex than I thought she was. She's told me that she never wanted to be a princess. My mother wouldn't have married the king if my father were still here. Delora looks between the two of us and sighs. And here I thought your relationship had improved. Now it seems like it's back to square one. I cross my arms and turn away annoyed. Do you have anything else to add, Parfait? If not, I would like to return to the palace. Princess, stay vigilant and be careful about who you trust. Trust? How do you know whom I trust? What makes you even think I trust you? The anger that I was experiencing earlier suddenly rises to the surface. For all I know, Parfait and Delora could be feeding me lies, playing with me the way Delora did when she first cursed me. I don't expect you to believe what we've told you. Perhaps it was not yet the right time to reveal everything to you, but please, you need to be careful. I stand up and look at them, my arms now hanging limply at my sides. How am I meant to trust anyone when all of you have been lying to me this entire time? Gaia, if you don't believe us, then try asking the king who Hildur truly is. I never even thought about asking the king about Mother. Rod, you should watch your back too. It's possible that this witch in question could be plotting something against the royal family as well. They have been in the palace for a long time, after all. She looks at me, then at Rod, her expression somber. I won't be able to stay with you anymore. I had to pick up and leave a few days ago because I was certain he'd caught a trace of my magic. He probably already has. Oh, you're saying he instead of they? So, I understand. Anyway, Gaia is right to return to the palace now. Someone may notice your absence if you're gone much longer. You two should leave now. Let us know if you notice anything unusual. I will. We'll see you again soon, Princess. Remember, stay vigilant. Rod and I leave the marching in silence. Here, in the secret tunnels, we are suffocated under even more silence, but still neither of us makes an effort to speak. I'm still stuck inside my own mind, sifting through my troubled thoughts. I can't reconcile the fact that the wicked witch who led the witches during the war was my mother. I did not even realize how many people hated my mother until after she'd passed, and they spoke about how cruel a queen she was. I never understood why, since she has always been the perfect person in my eyes. I never connected my mother with the Tenebrarum bearer, but what Parfait and Delora just told me makes sense. Was I living a lie all those years? A lie that my mother crafted so that I remained cold and bitter even after she passed away? And Delora and Parfait say I'm meant to inherit the power of the Tenebrarum from my mother. I don't want that burden. I almost bump into Rod's back when he suddenly stops walking. He turns around and looks at me with a serious expression. I cannot help but feel judged beneath the weight of that gaze. If you're going to tell me that you never wanted me as your partner because my mother was a witch, then I wasn't going to say that. What? I won't lie. The first time I saw you, I thought you were like your mother. You were cold, harsh, and selfish. I never wanted to have anything to do with you. That was why I was so against this partnership, but you've changed. But Rod's expression softens. As you and Emma have grown closer, I have seen that you're not like your mother. She speaks fondly of you, and I can tell she really enjoys your company. That's why, even if I don't have plans to break my curse, I'll still do what I can to help you break yours. It's the least I could do as your partner. I stare at Rod in shock. This is the first time he's ever been so nice to me. Why are you staring at me like that? I'm only doing this because you're important to my sister. It's not because you're important to me too, you f***ing idiot. Ron turns away, his face beat red. Liar! Sebby, you're gonna get put in the closet. You're gonna stay in there for 5 days. I swear to God, I'll be quiet for 5 days just so you can stay in there. You hear me, Sebby? You're going in the closet. Rod reaches up to pinch Sebby's face. Ow! Compliment him or thank him. Who would have thought that you were actually capable of being nice? Oh no! That's not what I wanted! Shit! What? Was that supposed to be a compliment? I should have just thanked him! Yes, you're always so grumpy. I don't even think I have seen a genuine smile on your face before. I could say the same for you. Birds of a feather flock together, then. Rod stares at me, dumbfounded. I cannot help but smile a little at his expression. Do you really dislike the fact that we are so similar? Rod is staring at me, wide-eyed. You just smiled. I did not! Rod thinks your smile is pretty. Oh. I do not. You two are really the same. I take a deep breath to calm the erratic beating of my heart. Anyway, I still want to help you with your curse, Rod. Why do you refuse to break it? Rod stares down at his feet, expression melancholy. Because I can't. Rod stops and shakes his head. He says nothing else, and I do not probe him anymore, especially not after seeing the distant look on his face. We walk through the corridor and back to our rooms after we say our goodbyes. I wonder what Rod was going to say. Mother, look! Eleanor got me this gift! Eleanor? Yes, she's my maid and my friend. Princesses don't make friends with their servants. But she's really nice. She even taught me how to braid my hair like... Those servants are only nice to you because you are the princess. They only pretend to be your friends so that they can have power over you. Yeah, but Eleanor would never... What reason do I have to lie to you? When have I ever lied to you, little one? You've never lied to me. That is correct. Tomorrow I will remedy this situation. I will hire a new maid. There we go. You are not to befriend this one, no matter what she says. But Mother, are you arguing with me, Gaia? No, I'm sorry, Mother. Jesus, no gifts for babe. It had been days since Parfait and Delora revealed my mother's true identity, and the inevitable responsibility I am to have on my shoulders once I turn 18. I've been trying to ask the king about Mother, but he's even busier these days than he was before, and it's impossible to find a single moment in the day to speak with him. The fact that I'm a maid makes it even harder to garner his attention. When I'm not on break, I continue to do my duty serving Emmerlane. Right now, I am accompanying her as she practices her walk and posture. Ophelia has been helping her, pointing out any mistakes she finds. I know how hard this is, dear. I had to go through this training as well before I married the king. Emmerlane allows her shoulders to slouch as she lets out an exasperated sigh. I've always hated these lessons. I had thought my posture was fine. This is supposed to refine it, and yet all these lessons have been doing is hurting my back. Oh, Emmerlane, you'll get the hang of this. You just need to keep practicing. But Mother, I've had the same lesson before. Why must I do it again? Because you slouch when you walk. That's unbecoming of a princess. Emmerlane scowls at her mother, and Ophelia's frown falls away as she bursts into laughter. Mother, you're not helping! The atmosphere in the room is far from heavy as Emmerlane and her mother continue to conduct their lessons. It is almost the exact opposite of the lessons I had with my mother. Mother always got angry when I made even the smallest mistakes. I know this is hard, but as the crown princess, all eyes will be on you during the ball. The people there will judge you any small mistake you make, which is why you need to be in top form on that night. I know. Ophelia clasps her hands. All right, now to start again. Emmerlane groans before heading to the far wall and straightening her back. She takes a deep breath, puts a book on her head, and begins to walk again. The book falls from her head on her third step. She sighs, moves back, and starts the process again. Neither of us break Emmerlane's concentration by speaking. We stand idly by and watch she tries time and time again. I'm surprised when Ophelia leans toward me and begins to whisper. Gaia, I've been meaning to say this before, but I'm grateful that you're friends with my daughter. I look at Ophelia's smiling face with surprise. I never agreed to be her friend. You are not against the princess making friends with her servants. Why would I be? I actually wish more of the staff here wouldn't be so uptight, since I would love for Emmerlane to be on good terms with the people who serve her. Besides, social status is never an obstacle to friendship. Ophelia shifts her gaze back to Emmerlane, who is now picking up the books that had once again fallen from her head. No matter your occupation or status, a friend is always a friend. You've given Everlane the courage she needs to face the many challenges she has ahead of her. In a way, you're like family, since you're always around us. Like family. Come what may, both family and friends are there for you, and will accept you for who you are. Even before I was cursed, Everlane was always trying to be my friend. That means she knew all along who my mother was, and still wanted to be my friend. The thought makes me remember that what Parfait told me about Mother threatening to kill Ophelia if the king did not marry her. I turned to Ophelia, curious. Your Majesty, may I ask what you know about the late Queen's rule? Ophelia looks at me quizzically, so I quickly add a thoughtless lie. I was not in Angel, and I've only heard stories. I just thought it was so hard to believe that, what with how peaceful things are in the palace right now. The kingdom was a dark place back then. People lived in fear under her rule. The king had no real power over Angel. The witches had free reign over the kingdom. They cast the fairy tale curse incessantly and on a whim. We barely left our houses in fear of becoming cursed. Mother's reign was that terrible. The king still blames himself for the darkness that befell Angel during that time. This is why he works day in and out to stabilize the country and to put smiles on everyone's faces. I remember long ago how he told me one of the reasons he would always continue to work hard for this kingdom was because he wanted to make a brighter tomorrow for his children. Children. Oh, I like that. Ophelia looks confused for a few moments and brushes off the awkwardness with a small chuckle. He helps the family in his own way. Is it possible that he said that with me in mind and Ophelia slip up? But then, maybe he was always referring to Everlane and Rod. The kingdom's come a long way since then, hasn't it? There are still witches here and there, but most of them don't bother us. I pray that the peace we are experiencing right now will last. I see. Thank you for telling me. It is a bit of a dreary topic, but I'm happy to have helped. If you need anything else, please don't hesitate to call on me. I know it may not be traditional protocol for a queen, but then I don't consider myself a typical queen. I try my best to listen to everyone here, regardless of what their title or name might be. I'm losing it. And I can only nod at her in response. Princess or maid, the way Ophelia has treated me has never changed. She has always treated me with kindness, regardless of who I am. I never saw it before because I was always so distant from everyone. But now I see that Ophelia treats everyone here with kindness, regardless of social status. I was always frustrated by the servants when they compared Ophelia to Mother, saying she was superior, but now I think I understand why they would make such comparisons. Everlane dismisses me after my lessons, and I begin to head immediately back to my room. I've just turned a corner when I notice Sir Alcaster standing before me, scowling. Watch where you're going, child. I quickly avert my gaze, not wanting a confrontation. He always looks at me so strangely, almost like he can see into my mind, or is trying to. My apologies, Sir Alcaster. Sir Alcaster nods his head at me stiffly before walking off. You are pardoned, Princess. No! Bye! I turn to stare after him, but he has already turned the corner. My blood becomes cold. Was that just a slip of the tongue? But how else could he know that I'm the princess? Is it possible that he is cursed? Or he is the witch? No, somehow that does not seem right. But if he does not have the fairy tale curse, could he be the witch that Delora warned me about? What reason would he have for unveiling his identity then? Unless he just wants to intimidate me further? It occurs to me that Fritz still remembers who I am. Wait, no, is it Fritz? Because Fritz has been gone for a while. Oh, no! No! Did he tell his father about me? Now I'm even more confused about whom I should trust. Gaia. I jump when I hear Rod call me. His expression slowly creases with something that looks like worry. You're pale. Did something happen? Would he believe me if I told him? Tell him! Not romancing. We're trying to get we're doing something with Rod's root, okay? I don't know. I'm uncomfortable. Sir Alcaster knows I'm the princess. Do you think he's the witch Delora was talking about? I whisper the words to him, and he responds by raising his eyebrows, looking surprised. What makes you say that? This isn't just because of the standoff way he acts, is it? You don't believe me. Rod sighs. I never said I didn't. It's just that we can't just blindly accuse anyone without any real proof. Rod stares at me for a few moments and closes his eyes, his eyebrows slightly furrowed with thought. Sir Fitzgerald also remembers who you are. I do not want to be so suspicious of Fritz, but I don't think blindly trusting him would be right either, given these circumstances. You need to stay vigilant around him. If anything happens, you can come talk to me about it. You're worried about me? Rod averts his gaze from me. Of course I am. Well, you're actually being honest. What? Rod stares at Sebby before pinching his cheek. Anyway, I must leave now. I have a dance to practice for. Dance? But you already know how to dance. What do you have left to practice? Rod does not answer and only walks away. I decide to follow after him. And we're gonna stop it right there. We're gonna learn about some dancing next time, I'm sure. Woo! I need to get up and stretch and go get some food.